All right, I put start streaming again. Maybe it just I don't know. I think it was about to start it because see yeah I did it again. It said watch the last broadcast. It disappeared and it came
Yeah, I
back.
saw the.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Is
Oh,
it,
Is
that
oh.
means is it good?
Yay!
Good, yeah.
Yeah, I see it.
hey, I
Okay.
see
Yeah,
my
we're live.
face.
Hey,
Yay.
what's going on? My face is there.
All right, what is up, everyone? This is the Pixelcast number 2. Yeah, and the topics today you can see on the left. The left. Okay, it's flipped. Anyway, Larry made the background, so thank Larry for that.
Thank you, Larry.
Yeah, and topics
Thanks,
today
Larry.
you
Yes.
can see on the left.
What with the pixel pushing?
Yep. All right.
Introduce everybody and go over the topics, and
Okay,
we'll get started.
freedom. All right, take it easy. All right, so, to the left of me is Game Meets Girl, Kristen, from like 20, 30 minutes ago. You're watching.
Not even.
Yeah,
I
like
just
15.
ran around for like 5 minutes.
Then over next to her is Larry. He makes video reviews for Fimi Pixels. If that's say Fimi Podcast.
What is her name called? I forgot.
Yeah, I forget all the time. And he helps out and everything. He's cool. Good gamer under development, the newest streamer. You could he's schedules down below if you
Totally not.
don't know.
Not even a little bit.
No one's suspicious at all. And then Sheik and Freedom above me. They don't have their cams on, but Sheik, say something.
Hi.
Okay, Sheik's the one with the link photo, and Freedom, say something.
We need to find
Hello.
like a new human host for Freedom to replicate so that he can be on camera.
No, you should use
The trouble with
face
being an
rigger.
alien replicant.
Mm-hmm.
Face
Yeah,
rigger software,
Freedom
man.
face rig would be epic.
Oh god, that'd be
Yes.
creepy. That'd be so
He
creepy.
can just be a corgi. He'll be our mascot.
Be a
The
dinosaur.
pixel corgi.
Oh, I
He
love
should
it.
be a cat just to rile Mateo.
Yep. All right, and the topics we're going over today are Psychonauts 2, our expectations, the problems with it, all our thoughts on that, if we have any. The Twitch botting and like the problems with that are still going on, even though it's been going on for a long time. There's not a huge. It's not going away anytime soon. Our favorite games of 2015 is pretty straightforward.
So are we telling the Feed Me Pixels favorite Twitch bot? Is that what we're doing? Or
What was it? And what else? Oculus Rift release, which we're gonna talk about that. That's pretty straightforward. Virtual. Oh, you have one, Larry?
I do.
I didn't even know you had one. Oh my god. All right.
If you want to preview those games, you know who to talk to.
Oh, you are
VR.
fancy, my friend. You are fancy.
VR in the coming future, in this coming year. What we're expecting to see, if we're gonna get any. Larry already has one though, and stuff like that. The games we're all looking forward to in 2016, and the Steam Greenlight shovelware issue that's been going on for like a year and a half or more.
Also known as the things we really enjoy to hate on.
Yep.
When no one's looking.
All right, well, let's just start off with Psychonauts 2. Larry, you said you had some things to say about this?
Did I? Was that the thing I said? I mean,
Yeah,
I remember,
you were.
I remember playing the original Psychonauts, but that's one of those games right now that I feel like it's like in case of like diminished footprint on the internet or diminished celebrity status, break glass and pull out Psychonauts.
Well, I'll try to explain what happened, a little bit of the issue. So as you can see here in the pictures, I don't know if you can see the little writing under it says get rewards under that, but it says on the first one, which when it first came out on what was it, the Game Awards thingy, the goal will be finished on January 7th. And then they extended it, like the next day they updated the page, and then it said January. No, it was like a few days later, they pushed it so that it had more time, and then I think they pushed it again. And so they raised a shit ton of money by pushing that again and again. They didn't really say anything about it. And also the head of Psychonauts, the head of Double Fine. He's also
Double shark fin soup.
he's
amazing.
he's also like one of the head of the company that runs these fundraising Kickstarter like things. He pretty much owns part of the website, so he could do whatever he wants. And then also there's this like whole thing about if you donate, you can maybe earn money back. But Freedom, you heard about that, right?
No, I didn't. I didn't.
Oh.
I wasn't really. I didn't really care about Psychonauts,
Well-
but I didn't hear the I seen the controversy on Twitter,
Mm-hmm.
but I wasn't sure what it's all about.
It's like this. All right, so they're saying you can make money back, but you can't. They don't. When you sign up for this and everything, they don't have any obligation to give you the money back if they do, and they have to reach a certain amount of money in like 2 years, and then the only return you'll see is the money you spent on it. And the only way to really invest in it is you got to be a real like investor. But
I think what
yeah.
Betty's trying to say, for people who are getting a little confused, is that the sort of crowdfunding website that they're using to make this thing into a reality, they're trying to make it so people are more willing to give them money because it's like investing. They claim that you can get your, a percentage of the profits if you put in so much money. But I looked around and I saw absolutely no evidence of any number anywhere said that they were going to do any of that. So for the most part, I would say you should just treat it like it's a regular sort of Kickstarter, that maybe you'll get a game out of it. Maybe you'll get a signed thing from Tim Schafer where he's like pulling up for a nip slip and then like he's got it like written right around the areola. But aside from that, like, you probably won't get like a huge amount of money, even if you dump like $2,000 into it. So probably don't do that.
And what makes it even a little worse is that a lot of gaming sites, they weren't talking about the issues with the Kickstarter at all. They were all saying, "Oh my God, Psychonauts 2, go donate right now. You can make money back. Go do it. It's amazing." And so yeah, that was it's a pretty big problem. But they met their goal. I think they got like 3,435,000, like 435,000, something like that, from Kickstarter, or not Kickstarter, whatever it's called. I think it's called, what the hell is that site called?
The Indigo.
Let me look.
It's like
He-
Fig. I think it's called Fig.
Oh,
He's-
I
Yeah,
He's
that's
got-
the one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Fig.
he-
So they made it on Fig, which that guy.
Yeah, he made
Oh,
more
it's-
than enough to get his house in Malibu now. So
They didn't even
I
need
think
this.
We should get houses. Too.
Okay, I'm pretty sure a company would have just paid
So
to
did
get
none
this
of
game in.
the gaming sites mention what happened with Space Base of 9? from
Most
Double Fine?
most of them no. Most of them didn't mention
How
about
Double
Space
Fine
Base.
made a dead on arrival creation.
Hmm.
Well, I think a problem, a big problem that people are overlooking is using Kickstarter or these crowdfunding websites to develop a game, and what the general public always overlooks and nobody ever lists most of the time is how much is it really going to cost to build the game. Like, I've seen so many Kickstarters where they look for unlimited funds and they never state like what they're what they actually need, because every independent studio that's legitimate and not in your mom's basement has a budget. Like, they already priced out how much everything's going to cost, from everything from asset development to talent scouting, blah blah blah.
And how many interns they have to hunt on the streets outside of a college to fill their quota.
So yeah, and my question is like, okay, how much? I don't know. I didn't look into Psychonauts, so I don't know if they actually listed like how much the budget or what their goal was. And I don't know if they have stretch goals. That's another thing. Like, and sometimes these companies don't even go, like, they'll meet their stretch goals and then never accomplish the stretch goals after the goal. And a good example of that is Anita from Feminist Frequency.
How many episodes are out for that?
Yeah, we'll save that for the next podcast.
Yeah, it looks like they did not really do much of a job like listing out what they need money for, where, and why. They just kind of
They said
cruised
where the money's
over like, yeah, like, we need the money for this, to do this from here, and this is the time it's going to take, and here is the team of the people that always work with Double Fine for all the things.
The best they
And then-
gave was a brain. They gave a brain. It's like funding from you guys, funding from companies, funding from investors, and then our own money. It was like 4 pieces of a brain. They didn't give a number. They just said that's how it's
Well,
working.
there's just like the lower temporal lobe stuff we fished out of the couch.
Yeah.
So, to ask another question, how many games has Double Fine kickstarted? And at what point does it become like, shouldn't you be sustaining yourself?
Well, that is a very good
yes.
question too, and every game they've ever put out has been on somebody else's dollar. You hear the expression "other people's money," and that's basically their whole business model.
Hmm.
Well, that's how it always used to be. You always had to go through a publisher to get a game developed. So like David Jaffe's title, Drawn to Death, he sold it to Sony so Sony would fund the making of the game. That's how games have always been developed. They're going to the fans because now studios are more picky with their money. Because publishers are like, well, I don't know if this is going to be successful. I don't want to take a risk on you. But when they do a kickstarted or funded project by the fans, it ends up being like, look how much support we have, and they're more likely to get more funding that way.
Well,
It's just
another
how it
thing
works.
with Double Fine is that they're kind of like the Guillermo del Toro of game making. Like, people see it and they have a notable like notoriety where people are kind of aware that they exist and the stuff that they've done,
Mhm.
but they don't really make a shit ton of money with it. So, like, people like Sony don't automatically come back to them like, "Oh, you want to make another thing? How many dollars do we put on the check?" Like, they don't do that. And so, like, I just looked up like I just Googled how many games has Double Fine kickstarted, and the top articles are all basically saying, "Why do we keep forgiving Double Fine?"
Mhm.
That's more my point, because there's plenty of people that have kickstarted games and then basically use the profits from the first game they kickstarted to build another game and publish it themselves.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's how a lot of companies, like even Arc themselves, is making hand over fist millions upon millions of dollars, and they're definitely gonna budget that that money to be able to release another game, or well, in this case, continued content because they want to expand on the game with DLCs, which would be like different maps, stuff like that. But nonetheless, you are right. Companies that have that budget, that put out a budgeting plan, 5-year plan, business plan in general, they will, like, they won't have to seek investment. You'll take the money and use that. They'll have a certain amount of money from the profits they make, all located to the new project that they're working on. And that's how it should go.
Mhm. They also said that someone mentioned Brutal Legend 2. That I think Tim said that if what was it? If Psychonauts meets its goal, he'll be so gracious in giving that they'll think about making Brutal Legend 2. But he's like, it's up to you guys to meet the goal.
Yeah,
That like
Because he doesn't have anybody to fund them.
I
So
don't
it's really
understand.
up to you guys.
Jack
I don't know
Black can
like.
fund Brutal Legend
Mhm.
2 by himself. Okay, let's be honest. Okay, the guy has way more than enough money to fund it. So
Well,
if
that
he
was like my response when the guy from Scrubs wanted to make a movie. I'm like, I know you can get investment money. Why do you go on Kickstarter for this?
That's my
Get
other
more.
thing with them too. Like, it's like, come on, guys, you don't really need to go to Kickstarter.
It's just like everyone feels like it's just like a money hole that they can just abuse, and now people who actually need to use Kickstarter for the thing it was intended for can't get any money on it. And I've seen, what, over 20 games last year not get funded just because people are kind of getting a little over kickstarted by these big names.
Mhm.
Is Double Find is it privately owned, or is it is it public? And if it is privately owned, who are the owners?
Let's find out.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
Well, because I'm curious, like, because I always wondered if Jack Black actually had an ownership in Double Fine, because he was a big supporter of them for quite some time, and
Looks
probably
like it's
still
owned
is.
by Tim Schafer himself.
Oh wow!
Mm,
He founded it after he left LucasArts.
All the money goes to him. That's where it goes. I mean, it's just like Gaben, all the money goes to him. Valve is privately owned, so.
race cars.
I mean, the thing that I remember was just like there was a huge load of like just BS that they spilled out when they kind of shuttered development on space-based DF9 after a whole bunch of people on Steam had, put money into the early access,
Mhm.
saying that like not only did we use your money to do it, but we also put in at least the same amount of our own money, which I think is not really that true considering I know a game developer who does a lot of Ludum Dare games who put a mod out for it that actually fixes all the stuff that was broken. That's just one guy in his spare time. If one guy in his spare time can fix your game and make it run, then maybe you're paying too many of the wrong people and you need to replace them.
Yeah.
That's my only response to that.
That's I'm pretty sure that was what they pretty much did. They just said it's up to you guys. We're done. And that's how it went.
I should mention they still put it on for discount during Steam sales. They're still milking that.
I Gotta make that money.
That thing is still full priced, even though it's not done or
Yeah, I
even
think this
like
is-
workable.
I think this is an indicator of like a bigger problem on Kickstarter, in that like you want to be understanding to these developers, and you want to be like, okay, I get it, you can't get the big name publishers to support you, so you want us to support you. But at the same time, there's going to be developers that are completely utterly willing to take advantage of that.
Oh, and they're everywhere. I mean, there's two good examples in the last year, two criminal investigations, one on the part of the FTC and one on whatever the UK version is. There was that guy that was going to make a board game
Oh
that
yeah,
spent
that.
every dime from his Kickstarter on stuff that had nothing to do with the board game. And now there's like a lawsuit to get him to pay all of it back. And then there was a drone company in the UK who are just repackaging like a $15 Chinese drone that's like that big, and they raised like, I don't know, like $1 to $2 million, and then it all dried up, and all they were doing was rebranding a drone that had already been developed. It's like, really, guys? It's really just, I think, a lack of accountability and a lack of forced oversight. You have to be forced to kind of interact with people, kind of Patreon style, where you got like this feed of stuff that you're doing. They try to get people to actually talk to the people that gave them money, because that's what's really pissing people off, is like, we gave you money, maybe we'll hear from you in like 6 to 3 years.
Yeah.
Well, another issue that actually touches on a few of the topics tonight is the mainstream media and PC gaming never talks about anything controversial. Like, they completely try to stay away from everything and anything controversial, and I think that's a huge problem, because you need to spread awareness, and make people aware. Don't keep pushing these projects through, whether it be Greenlight, even with like Twitch botting. People should demand, like, Twitch do whatever they can, even though we'll get to that, because there's things that Twitch can't do, but there are things that they can do. People need to be held accountable, but the only way that's going to happen is if the mainstream media, inform the public correctly, and don't just swipe things under the rug.
But it won't get us as many ratings and views, Mr. Freedom. What are we supposed to do?
Yeah, but when you look at the history of like journalism over the years, for decades and decades, the reason why journalism thrived is because it told you nothing but the news, and controversial or not, it was out there, because that's what journalists did. They told you news, especially the controversial stuff, because that's what sold for years, and that's what continues to sell if you're a Kardashian, I guess.
Or famous because Daddy worked the Simpsons case.
Yeah.
I mean, what?
Rashu asked, how did they know the guy spent money and stuff not related to the game? I'm pretty sure he admitted to like buying a hotel in some expensive city, right?
They
not
audited
hotel.
him, and they went through all of his expenses from the account that all the money was kept in, and they just went through and analyzed everything and said that like not even 10% of it went to anything for the game. Like, I think he spent a little bit of it like sending rewards to people, because he had like backer rewards that were due by a certain date, or else Kickstarter would have asked questions. But yeah, they just audited everything, IRS style.
The way you do it is like, it's like, all right, I need a company car, so I'm gonna get this Ferrari and write it off at the end of the year.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the next one now. It's Twitch botting. So that's something that still happens. I mean, maybe it's not as worse as it once was.
Oh no, it's terrible.
Do
What do
you
you
think
mean?
it's still
It's
terrible?
worse.
Right.
It's
Oh,
worse
yeah, yeah.
now.
It is
I-
worse, isn't it?
I don't stream, so why don't you explain to the guy who has only a vague understanding of this what exactly this is, and I can tell you how that relates to YouTube botting.
Okay, Twitch botting, I'd say it's probably somewhat similar. Just a whole bunch of fake accounts, bot accounts, just go to your channel. They stay somewhat active. They don't, normally most of them don't, chat, but there are some, I'm pretty sure there are some that do have like fake conversations in chat, like a bot with a bot, so it seems like something's going on. And they're just really there to make your viewer count go up, to higher your viewer count. the higher you up are on the list of games. So that with some games, when there's not a lot of people streaming, that won't really do anything. But when you start doing it in games like League of Legends, Counter Strike Go, that like one viewer literally makes a difference between you being over like 300 different people streaming at the same time.
Botting is not griefing. Botting is a paid service
Mhm.
that is publicly open. There's actually I did some research this week on Twitch botting and the service providers that provide the botting services for YouTube, Twitch, and literally they promote the fact that and they have statistics and I shit is wild how open and
There
public
is
it
a
is.
premium ad from Google about Twitch
Yeah,
bots.
yeah. So
Wow.
they're out in the public, just slapping Twitch all over in the face. Like you go to some of their websites and they're like, we've helped over 400 or 700 streamers get partnered on Twitch. Use our service. And I know people do because I've gone to people's channels and they're just botting themselves and they're having conversations with the bots because these services provide a back end GUI that allows you to do tons of things and it keeps you anonymous. So there's actually no way for Twitch to know that you're botting yourself. You can just say, "Oh, I don't know, someone's botting me," and that's how these people stay in business.
And man, this is a bargain. For $10, I can get 75 fake people on my empty stream.
Exactly.
validation.
So our me and Mateo had this conversation actually this week about Twitch botting because it frustrates us a lot because we talk to Twitch on a regular basis about partnership. And they're like, oh, we just want you to have a certain amount of consecutive viewers. You guys are doing a great job. Keep it up, this, that, and the other thing. But all our numbers are legitimate. These are real people. There's no bots. We're not getting botted. We're not botting. These are real people. And, it's frustrating because, you see these people that are just botting themselves from day one. And all of a sudden, in 3 months, they're partnered because, they spent $100 or something on one of these services. And now they're partnered, and here we are, could generally be genuine about our offer to Twitch and aligning ourselves with them, and yet they're just like, oh, just keep doing what you're doing, but we'll just keep partnering people that are botting themselves because we don't really look into the channels or the streamers. We only care about the numbers, whether they're fake or not. Yeah, it's fucked up. So it's kind of like saying to us well, guys, just why don't you bot yourself and you'll get the numbers you want. It's kind of fucked up.
This is freedom talking, and
And this sounds a lot like what happened with YouTube botting, which was a very similar thing.
Larry, I have more time on YouTube than Twitch, so we're probably gonna have a similar perspective on this. But didn't YouTube, to solve the botting situation, don't they flat out ban you if they can prove it? You just lose everything.
Yeah, so here's what happens. When you bot on YouTube, this was a huge problem, right when I started doing anything on it. And what they ended up doing to get rid of it was they just overhauled their entire metrics system to track where views were coming from and everything. And if they detected that one IP was generating more than 3 views in a single second, then that was somebody who was botting. And they will just flat out first off they'll remove the video that had all the views so that you're not getting anything from it while they investigate. And then the second thing that they'll do is if they do see that it's questionable, they will suspend you for I think it's 3 weeks. When the person who I know got involved with something like that had that happen. And then after that, you're on probation for 6 months. You can't really use half of YouTube's more advanced features, and then if you do it again, you're gone. Now they might be more aggressive about getting rid of it now, but they basically the only way that they could detect it was if you're getting weird view numbers from one IP, then they automatically flag it for review by somebody. Now I don't necessarily know if it's possible to do that with Twitch, just because there's just so much bandwidth flowing across the whole thing. But it's possible. But again, YouTube's different because it's owned by Google, and Google's got, well, the power of the Google servers at their disposal, so they
Well,
can do stuff that no one else can really do.
Twitch has the power of the Amazon servers because all the Twitch hubs are Amazon data centers, and if they have so much power, it's retarded. But at the end of the day, yes, it is a very daunting task to try to stop botting, to investigate every potential case. I do report people. Like I will report a streamer that I could tell that's botting themselves just because, fuck that. But there are steps that they can take. Like Google will go directly after the companies that are publicly offering services to utilize scripts that take advantage of YouTube or their other services.
Right.
So in the legal sense of thing, yes, you can do that. Like you can take legal steps. Now, some of these companies are operating out of third world countries, so it becomes a little bit more a daunting task. But again, you can accomplish it. I think it comes down to how much you're invested in actually how much you care about the community, and it's sad to say that most companies, only care about the bottom line and not necessarily the community
Well,
itself.
the other thing that used to be a problem, and this is the guy that I was talking about. I did some stuff with a group called EVL Gaming, and they got a really popular pair of videos from Planetary Annihilation back when it was in early access, and they didn't pay for any of that. In fact, they could have cared if anyone looked at any of those videos at all. It was just something that they did for their group of friends when they went out and played something together. They just put up a video so that they could goof around and have fun with it. And just one of the videos just exploded beyond probably reasonable expectations for that game, and then YouTube suspended them for 3 weeks because they were like, well, you must have been Twitch, or not Twitch, but YouTube botting. And so, like, I know they hadn't done it because I know the guy personally who runs the whole thing. And that was a situation of, apparently it was not unheard of for people to YouTube bot other people and then report it just so that they could grief one another. And that's the situation where, like, you have to have some decent investigative stuff to prove, like, where they're coming from, and if they're going across multiple videos, so that you're not incidentally banning people who are just getting griefed by someone who happens to understand how the punishment system works. And that's what I was thinking about when I first heard about this, was just like, I wonder if people are going to grief each other as, like, a new form of digital swatting by just sending a bunch of views to some channel that they suddenly decide they don't like, to get them banned off of the platform, like when 4chan raids somebody on, like, what's that other streaming platform, Hitbox. That's something that happened a few times.
Yeah, back in the day.
Very much to what Larry is saying, like when I started YouTube, bots were like the boogeyman, because everybody was talking about it like, oh, you don't want somebody to bot your channel because they'll do it and then report you and you'll lose your channel and it really sucks. And I think part of that is the fear that YouTube has created by being willing to crack down on it. So a lot of people starting out are just like, there's no freaking way. That's way too dangerous to lose everything.
And YouTube's very, like, punish first, worry about who's innocent later. They are all just about covering their own ass. They don't really care that, like, some random guy who's just trying to make a little bit of money from their videos, making, like, cooking how-tos. They don't care who you are. Unless you're partnered with a network and you're making them millions of dollars like PewDiePie, nobody's gonna step up to bat for you. Even though recently YouTube has claimed that they are stepping up defending fair use videos, I've not seen any evidence of that on my end, and I periodically get, videos flagged for frivolous garbage every so often, every other month or so. It's just silly. I mean, the trick is you have to send back a message full of legalese, and then they'll usually let it go, even if you may be doing something suspicious. Like, but it's still, like, the whole system is just rife with abuse. I mean, just no one's really taking the helm and saying, like, well, some of these people probably aren't nasty, like, evil pirates stealing Paramount's movies. Like, no one does that. The handful of people that do that are, like, the minority on YouTube. And like, what was the other thing that people are abusing recently? It's like the prank video people. Those are the ones. Like, if you
Oh my
criticize
God.
the top the top money making prank video channels, either them or their networks might try to claim your video so that it gets taken down.
Hmm.
Just ridiculous.
That's been happening a lot recently. Didn't IGN do that? I'm pretty sure IGN did that.
All the major networks of people will try to get stuff taken down. Sony has had a bunch of stuff flagged for malicious copyright claims, just so that in the Google SEO, their new trailer shows up before all these reviews of their previous game.
Yeah.
Nintendo does a lot of that as well.
We know all the Japanese companies.
They
do that
use
pretty heavily.
They use these large corporations. I can't speak for the Asian-based corporations, but I know a lot of the European and American based corporations use third-party companies for
Rights representative
yeah,
groups.
piracy and stuff. Yeah. So they do most of like the sending out for takedown notices and other stuff like that. But at least they're trying.
I mean, it's good that somebody's preventing people from stealing stuff. Like, for example, I had the intro animation for a game that somebody had sent me a preview for, and Rooster Teeth had also done a little video on it, and it got flagged by Rooster Teeth. But the difference being, if you send Rooster Teeth an email, they'll be like, "Oh, my bad. That system just does that stuff automatically. We apologize. We have whitelisted you in our content system." Rooster Teeth are really nice people, by the way. If you ever have to email them, they will email you right back like, "Sorry, that was not intentional. Our bad."
Hmm.
That's good to know.
Yeah, that's good. I like Rooster Teeth stuff.
Yeah, no, I was pleasantly surprised, and I don't almost ever say that on YouTube anymore. Like, never.
It's true. Yeah, there are some good people, but it's really hard. Like, I know a lot of my videos will get flagged for third-party content if you use a song, if you use a video. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's fair use or anything like that. They'll still flag it, and then you can't make money from it, which kind of sucks if that's what you're trying to do, is become a professional YouTube reviewer. And it's like, great, I make like so many videos, and I'll make like maybe 25 cents because I have some copywritten content that I can't get past because Viacom owns it, which Viacom seems to own everything that I've ever done. I don't know how.
And the other thing is that some of these companies might not actually own it.
Mhm.
Some of them will literally just maliciously claim stuff that they have zero ownership over, just so they can make money from anybody who posts that on YouTube. Because again, YouTube doesn't police to make sure that you actually own what you claim to own. There were three big fake companies, obviously, but there were three big companies that were claiming to own songs from Paramount that were in movies from like major soundtracks, just so that they could grief people and steal all that ad money. And then they got sued by, I think, one of Paramount's, subsidiary rights companies. But like, if even it happens to Paramount, like, there's nothing that just, some random person's gonna do. I mean, for example, I had Twisted Firestarter got flagged in Just Cause 3 for the first video I put up of that, and they have not responded to, my counterclaim, which is going to mean that it's about to, in a couple days, get released, so that they won't be able to claim any videos for another 6 months at least. But, if you wanted to make a series on that and you didn't want to deal with the threat of, like, them getting pulled and a copyright strike going against you, I can't finish going on with that series until that's cleared up, so that's just, like, sitting there in the background, the other 2 episodes that I already uploaded. And I'm not going to do anything with them until the middle of this month. And, like, interest in Just Cause 3 is kind of pittered out, so it's kind of like, well, I might not even finish it now just because, well, it's a little too late.
Yeah, that's YouTube has a lot of issues, and Twitch has a lot of issues.
Well,
So-
then what kind of solution would it be for Twitch to prevent botting? Like, I don't, like, would you have to have someone research, like, all the different users from all the different IPs? Because that would be impossible.
There's a lot of different steps that they could take. The first step is actually taking a step, addressing it publicly to the community, stating that, yes, we are aware that this is a problem, but, we want you to know that we are aware, and, we are trying to do our best to, stop these services, stop it from happening. and take partnership a little bit more seriously, when looking into who the hell you're actually partnering, because I mean, Twitch is partnering people that have literally zero real followers. Like, these people botted themselves to the point of partnership for, like, say maybe 3 to 6 months, okay, which isn't a big investment. You're talking about maybe a few $100s, and and got partnered. And even to this day, right now, they got a subscription button on their page, but they got actually no real viewers. And it's just sad. This just goes to show, like, how much Twitch really puts in an effort. And it's just a slap to the face for people like us who, are actually doing things the right way, how, Twitch would like them to be. And yet when we talk to Twitch, they're just like, oh, you guys are doing a phenomenal job, but, we want to see your consecutive numbers higher. So it's just like, okay, so then should we just bot ourselves? Because, clearly that's all you care about,
But yeah, just like what Good was saying, like, my concern as somebody who's about to start streaming is that they don't do exactly what YouTube did, which was just lay the hammer down thick and hard and heavy, and then just hope that they don't get too many innocent people in the crossfire. And, I mean, there really isn't a lot of options for you unless you just, like, somehow hire some digital forensics company to work with them that can, like, somehow get in there, like, LA Noire style and start knifing IPs. Like, I don't know.
They can. It starts at the registration process. First off, like, even companies like Facebook have taken a lot of steps, and Google, to prevent mass registration or bot registration. You don't even need to verify an email to start an account on Twitch. Okay, so the first step, for Twitch, like, if they didn't know where to start, it's like, start at user registration. Stop people from using scripts that can mass register. Put more restraints on register. Try to make people, like,
Select
become...
the pictures in this box that are all of street signs.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like there's a lot of things they could do, and the first step is registration, because these people are using bots to mass register accounts that they don't even have to verify emails. So they're starting accounts with emails that probably don't even exist. Like, so this is like, so the first step is force people to verify, their email before they can even do anything on Twitch. Before they can even talk in somebody's chat, make them verify it. Make them download an app or whatever the case may be. There's multiple different ways for authentication. So
Freedom, are you trying to tell me that Hillary Clinton 2016 is not, like, really registering 30,000 accounts on Twitch? Are you trying to get me to believe that, sir?
I'm not saying Twitch should hire me, but I definitely consult them if they needed it, because it seems like they might need it.
Well, the other thing
Hashtag
too
freedom.
is that Freedom's solution of them forcing an email verification, in my opinion, should trigger before someone can even log into an account on Twitch, because, like, it would also help solve some of the problems that people have with trolls, because right now, even if you set it so that only people with verified emails can chat, they can still follow with thousands of accounts that they create automatically through IRC.
Do you not already have to do that? Because I created my account, like, forever ago when I first, like, made sure I had Larry Chupacabra on everything. But yeah, like, if you don't have to do that, just do like Reddit did. Like, if you get, like, warned or something in the chat, like, you have to now verify your email before you can go be a butt again, and then we can get rid of you at the email level, so you can't use that email to register ever again. That'd be great.
But you
I
can
thought
still
that was,
make
like,
more accounts.
I thought that was like day one stuff, though. It's just like, make sure we know what the email is so that we can start locking that down.
But this is a problem that's been going on for multiple different sites, even Facebook. Still having this problem.
Steam has a problem with bots. I mean, it got better, but early, like in the middle of last year, it was fucking insane, the level of Steam bots. It was like 4 to 6 every week. So
Are you
yeah.
trying to tell me that person telling me there's sexy signals in my area on Steam a few minutes ago wasn't being truthful, sir?
Well,
That's
Oh,
slander.
I'm sorry.
There was something I wanted to mention before when you were talking about copyright infringement with YouTube. It's like, You know, because I like to download all your videos, Larry, and re-upload them to Facebook. You know, and just keep all the
Oh,
rights to
that
myself.
whole thing. Oh my God. We
So
can,
I do that all the
we'll
time.
talk about that. We'll talk about that
Like,
another
you
time.
know,
That's
because
a
we were
that's a big
talking so
one.
much about how the major companies protect their IP, their assets, but yet who's looking out for the little guy, you know, that's getting their videos taken and re-uploaded, you know?
Hmm. Oh, wasn't there like a advertisement bot on Twitch not too long ago? Unbreakable was having the problem with it, where they were putting up links for like FIFA or something like that. It was like EA Twitch bots. That was weird. Does anyone remember that? No, no.
I'm not
No.
sure.
I
That sounds pretty
asked
crazy.
Unbreakable. He was talking about it, but yeah, during his streams, he was getting like bots putting links in the chat for FIFA like 2016. It was like that for like a few weeks straight. That was odd. Advertisement bots are kind of annoying. They still happen sometimes.
I mean,
Sometimes.
you're never gonna completely get rid of spam bots,
Mhm.
but I mean, some of this stuff would go
Oh, listen,
miles to improving it.
you just, you know, like we stated, there are steps you could take via, and everything starts at the registration, you know, but then there's other steps that they could take on the back end, technical things that we won't get into right now, but nonetheless, you know, the first step is acknowledging it to the community, and and stating that you will do something. You're gonna try to take you know, do the
Mhm.
right thing. But whatever. Nonetheless, let's move on to
Yeah,
the
yeah,
next
yeah.
topic. So,
I
but wait, I just want to say, you know, if
Okay.
anybody feels like botting us, listen, we ain't gonna hate on you. You know, nobody cares. Um,
Alright.
Incoming bots.
We have like
Alright.
1,000 people watching this.
The next one is just our favorite games of 2015. It's pretty straightforward, just games. I don't know. Anyone want to start off with this?
I liked
Uh,
Bloodborne. I liked
I
that a
haven't
lot.
played it.
That was
I wasn't able to
that
play
was
it.
flippin' weird. If anyone here has thought about that game and they really want to know what the story ends up being in that game, just envision like Van Helsing meets a Cthulhian nightmare thrown through like the washing machine that is like Japanese Shinto inspired anime, and then you have a pretty decent idea of the weird things that are about to happen to you.
I really want to play it, but did they say they're gonna come out for PC or no? They haven't.
That's
They
probably
said
never
nothing.
coming to
Ah,
PC.
single tier. Oh yeah, I didn't get a chance to play Undertale at all. Anyone here did?
yeah,
I played
Game
it a
Eats
little
Yeah,
Girl
Game
I
Eats
did.
did.
Girl, you played it,
I
right?
totally did, yeah.
How was that? A lot. There was
I
huge.
didn't finish it.
You never
because
finished
my
it?
voice would get tired from all my
Ah.
amazing voice acting. It was fantastic, but the game is it's really different from like what you think of a normal game,
Mhm.
and I really liked that because it's just different thinking. You don't have
Very
to be violent.
JRPG and
Yeah, well, no, it
Yeah.
is a JRPG.
Yeah, I
It's
really
like
liked
Earthbound
that.
remade.
It's basically that Undertale was heavily inspired, and the guy who created it, the main guy, worked on, I think, the Starman website, or did some sort of worked on Earthbound in some degree. But yeah, that game was heavily based around Earthbound. So if you ever played Earthbound for Super Nintendo, aka Mother 2, you'll love Undertale because that was just like it. Well,
I
not
had
just
some
like
friends
it,
try to convince me to play it and do a series on it, so I said, "All right, I'll give it a chance. If I don't connect with anything inside of it, it'll turn into one of those genocide runs that I heard about in the reviews for it. So let's hope for all of those creatures' sakes that I enjoy it. Otherwise, the apocalypse cometh."
I'm confused on how the game even like plays. Really, I haven't seen an extreme amount of it.
Have you ever had a fist fight in a text box before? It's a lot like that.
Uh,
And that's a very
That's a
good
good-
way to put it. Too.
Wow,
Yeah, that's
that was
great.
adept.
what other game? I like Fallout 4, obviously. That
Oh,
that
of
was
course,
pretty
that's
good.
your favorite
Really?
game.
It was a little. It was a
Game
little.
of the year,
It was
buddy?
a little. That's not my game of the year. No way, it's not my game of the year. It was a little. It was a lacking, definitely, in the whole. You get a choice. There's like no choice in the game, and the voice options and the whole anything like that. They should have
I
just
was never
kept how it
happier
was.
than when I learned that I had zero reason to connect with my son and I could kill all of them.
Yeah, that was that made me really sad.
Because I basically called how that was going to turn out the second I came out of the cryo tube. I'm just like, I bet it's like 100 years later and he's like 90.
But Larry, wasn't the best part when he basically told you he'd been using you since the time you woke up, and then your only options were "I trust you completely" or "I'm going to murder the Institute"?
Yeah.
I mean,
it's...
I was just disappointed in that game. The fact that they seemed to assume that I was going to be a really upstanding citizen when the first thing I did in the first major city was go into the school and rob the children.
It's very hard to be evil in that game, and they removed the karma system for like no reason.
Oh, it's not hard. It's just no one seems to want to acknowledge.
Yeah,
that
well,
I've
no
been
one
doing
cares
terrible
if you're
things
evil.
to dead bodies out in the wasteland.
In Fallout
Terrible
3,
things.
if you blow up Megaton, your father's like, you blew it up, you know, you're pretty much an asshole, and he guilts you, and then you'll have some people come after you, like, you blew it up, and people would also talk about it, and you would have that, like, floating above you that you killed all those people. But in 4, no matter what you do, pretty much no one even knows about you half the time. You're just some guy, that's it, or some girl or something, and you just
Oh yeah, I
do
heard
stuff.
about you. You're that dude that's knifing everyone in the wasteland. I'm like, yeah, you better not give me any guff, or I'll
So-
knife you too.
I have a
For me,
settlement.
Fallout 4 is like my most disappointing game of the year because I was looking forward to it so much.
Mhm.
And I don't know if this counts as a game of the year because I don't know if it's actually fully released yet, but I would totally say Darkest Dungeon was the game that came out of nowhere and like blew my mind this year.
It's
All
a
right,
good game.
Mateo Jr.
That's a good. Mateo Joyce.
Jr.
Darkest Dungeon is a really good game. That is one
It's
of the.
So the thing I think that makes it really great though is like the tension in it is perfect because like you'll go from a moment where like it looks like everything is in hand and you're like puffing out your chest about how awesome you are, and like a split second later your entire team wipes and you're just like, what happened?
No, my spleen. I need it inside of my body. Why?
It's like that. I think the brutality of it makes it like so up and down that the tension is kind of wonderful.
That
Yeah.
game is what early access should be.
Yeah,
really should
I never
agree.
played it, but I've seen Mateo play it more than enough, and it looks like a really fun game. You know, they worked really hard on it. You know, I haven't played it yet, so I can't say it's my favorite game because we all know what my favorite game of the year is.
It's Ark.
Of course,
Of
that's,
course
and
His
it's
that-
favorite
Ark.
game of the year
It's
is
Raptor
Ark.
Fondling Simulator 2016. I'll have you all know.
Talk a
That's
bit
its
about
real
Ark,
name.
Freedom.
when you talk about what indie studios should be like, Ark is, you know, right now the definitive indie studio. They're doing all the right things, from the business side of things, community side of things, as well as the game itself. I mean, it is in the top 4 most played games in the world right now, and it's just hitting console too. So, you know, that says a lot. You know, and this is, you know, these are indie studios that are behind this. Now, granted, you know, a lot of their key staff are seasoned developers, people that worked on huge games in the past. You know, that all just decided, you know, to go out on their own and, you know, take part of this indie project. And you know, hey, it's
And it was
my
only
favorite game of the
briefly
year.
overtaken by Rocket League when Rocket League was on sale, and then it
Yeah.
immediately went on sale afterwards and took back over Steam.
Yeah.
So,
Now,
Oh man.
Freedom,
Quentin-
let me
Yeah,
ask
go
your
ahead.
opinion on something. I think the reason why Ark is so successful compared to some of the other survival games we've seen come out is because of the whole taming aspect. Like, I think you eventually get really, really attached to the critters that you tame in game, much like you would a real pet. So you feel like you have more skin in the game than when you're just like trying to survive in other survival games.
I think what made this a initial hit right off the bat. Now, I do agree. Yes, that dynamic is, you know, unique.
I named my Triceratops Chunky Dumpy.
Yeah, it is. It's very unique to Ark. However, I think what made Ark an initial success in the survival genre right off the bat was the fact that when they launched early access, they actually had a survival game. Like when you look at the competitors in that market, they all launched with games that were like,
You're
they
looking at
weren't
like
even.
the forest where the AIs barely even recognize that you're there, and they don't interact with any of the stuff that you can currently build to try and stop them. That was the example from the forest.
And yeah, and the other thing is you look at like DayZ and all these other ones, like these games were already a year and a half, 2 years in before Ark even hit the scene. And when Ark hit the scene, they already had more developed in early access than these games had already done in 2 years. That's why even when I look at people still playing the Rust or Forest now, it's kind of just like, you know, I don't know. I don't want to say developers are scamming people. Maybe they took on a project that they thought it was going to be a lot smaller than it was. But, you know, Ark came out in the survival genre the right way. You know, it's a big undertaking, you know, to do it right. And, you know, they put it all together, and that's probably because everybody that's involved in that is a senior, you know, in whatever respective field they're in. And you could see that, like, you know, they interact, the developers, the marketers, they interact with the community
And that
on
thing gets patched like at least twice a week lately. Like
These
they're
Yeah.
good about fixing stuff
these
too.
guys work in shifts, like they work in days and nights. Like, you know, they'll put out updates. It'd be Friday night, 3 o'clock in the morning. Their main office is East Coast, so all you know, whenever they do everything,
Like when the
it's
next guy
Eastern.
comes up for like their shift, they just like wake him up and they're just like, quickly, we gotta give him some coffee. Just slap,
Yeah,
get the
like
needle in there.
it's crazy because, you know, they put out server-wide messages that broadcast to everybody on every server, like, and they'll be like, all right, in 15 minutes we're rolling out a new patch update, new content, or whatever the case may be. And they do this on a daily basis. And outside of just content, the game right now, if you played it, you wouldn't even think it's in early access because, I mean, it feels like a full-on game. And like they still got a whole nother year of development, content. I mean, the biggest gripe that people have is optimization. But again, this is what early access is for. You know, you're gonna play games in early access are gonna be unoptimized because that's one of the last steps of the actual development, unless they optimize along the way. But most times, you know, they'll start optimizing towards the end once they have final content. You know, it's just easier that way.
So to clarify, Freedom really likes Ark.
Really,
Yep.
really.
It thinks it's
really-
okay. It's all right. Oh, what was that other game? Battlefront was a major disappointment for me.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
Star
was,
Wars Battlefront?
Yeah.
I could have told
think-
you
Wait,
that before it
a
even
Battlefront
released.
came out? Are you confusing
Yeah.
Battlefront with like Battlefield with like stormtroopers in it? Because there's a difference.
If it was
think
alright,
it's
if Battlefront was Battlefield with Star Wars, the game would have been better. Battlefield 3 is fun. Battlefield 4 is not as good as 3, but it's funner. Okay, if they just just reskinned it as Battlefield, it would have worked fine because Battlefield actually
Battlefield
plays
3
out
Lite.
fine.
I think it's sad that the Battlefront that released this year actually has less overall content than the Battlefront that we used to play on like PlayStation 2.
They care about graphics more than actual fun.
Everything is so
That's true.
beautiful. I can install that mod that makes it look like I can really see all the moles on
Mhm.
Jeffrey's face. I was so
I love the
excited.
moles.
Real mole physics. Oh boy.
Like, it's really visually appealing, but the gameplay is really like the gameplay and the lack of content is just a huge turnoff for me. Because I really wanted that game, but because of all the shit that I've been hearing about it, I just didn't bother.
You
with
didn't
it.
want a cluster of people exploding simulator. You wanted an actual let's go fight in Star Wars simulator.
Yeah, I wanted a Star Wars simulator, not this.
Real quick, guys,
Yeah.
I gotta BRB real quick. I gotta get my dog because someone put it out and didn't bring it in. So I'll be right back in like 2 minutes. Just keep talking or something.
All right, well,
Let's talk about
we're
Betty
running-
behind his back.
I'm running low on time here. I gotta run to an appointment in about 10-15 minutes. So, hours about my limit today.
No worries. What was your
Alright.
favorite game?
I really liked Bloodborne, but if we're gonna talk about games that are like Ark, my favorite game from early access was actually Subnautica, another game that like launched pretty finished, and that's like my new Minecraft where I can go out crash landed alone on an alien world that's mostly ocean, and I can try not to get fondled to death by all the various dolphin-like creatures that are constantly looking to eat my giblets.
Oh, I heard of that
Actually sad.
game.
I missed
Yeah,
it on
it's a
Steam
pretty cool
sale.
It's a pretty cool concept. I did see some gameplay of it yesterday.
Since I just started talking with Freedom about doing an impression series on the YouTube channel, I can promise you guys some Subnautica impressions if you'd like.
Yeah, that'd be
So
cool.
let Freedom know if you're down for that in the channel or in the little chat window here. Be like hashtag Subnautica. Do it, Freedom. Tell Freedom what you want.
Hashtag Subnautica.
Yeah, no, that would definitely be cool. That game really does look interesting. I forget who was playing it yesterday. I think maybe Continue was. But yeah, it did look really good. It looked really interesting. I do like the concept behind it, the story.
All right, well, I'm out of here, you guys. It was fun. I'll be on for the whole thing next time. And have fun, everybody.
Yeah.
I'll bring.
All right.
Since you've got your dog, I'll bring my cat in, who's on this chair behind me.
Yes, bring the cat.
Yeah.
Well, the more animals, the better.
Here, let me grab her up. She's got a little dot on her nose. Yep, she doesn't want it. See, she's got a cute little dot. There you go.
I wish she meowed into the camera. That would have been awesome.
All right, I'll catch you crazies later. Have a good one.
Okay, I'm back. What happened?
All right, later, Larry.
Oh,
We
Larry's
had a
going.
surprise guest from my cat.
Are you
You
going,
can
Larry?
Turn off, you can
Yep,
turn
I
off
got an
Larry's
appointment
camera.
thingy.
All right, Larry. See ya.
Toodles, Fruitles, and all you Fruitles in the chats.
All right,
The
thanks for
Frutal?
joining us, Larry. Taking some time out of your day.
Yep,
Mm.
I'll be in it for the long run next time. As
Alright.
long as Betty's daddy says it's okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Father is a dick.
Sounds good.
I know, I heard
Buddy
the story.
disconnected from your
Yep,
channel.
yep.
My favorite game of 2015 is Life is Strange.
Life
don't
is
know.
Strange.
If you guys like really care about like adventures and choice games and stuff like that, but like since I'm a big fan of those type of games, like that's what I love. Whoa, look at me on the thing.
Yeah,
I look
yeah.
amazing.
I gotta fix it now.
I look great. But yeah, that game is amazing. It like blew my mind about how competitive in like the market they are with the Telltale series and stuff like that. Like that's kind of just shows me there's a lot more people interested in making those types of games, and they can be really good. I don't know. That story was great. It involved time travel, which I love. It involved a female protagonist, like high school drama. It
Mhm.
involved death, drama, amazing things. I don't know. I liked everything about it.
I haven't I don't know about Life is Strange. I don't really have like a huge interest for it, but it looks like it's probably a pretty good game once you get into it.
Oh yeah,
Is it like? It's mostly about choices, right?
right. And
Like
there's
the
a lot of
choices you
twists
make?
and turns and stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I
like
think
It's
those.
like
it's
an
a-
interactive movie that
It's
you
like a
kind
really
of
nice
decide-
evolution on what Telltale does.
Yeah.
Mm. I wish the new Walking Dead was out already. They need to finish that already. That was good.
Season 2 made me cry. So
Yeah, the season 2. I don't want to
I haven't
spoil it
played
because I
season
know
2.
people still haven't played it, but it's
it's great.
crazy. It's crazy
Great.
stuff that happens.
I thought season 1 was really, really well done, though, and I thought that using Lee and Clementine to sort of echo the thing you see in the comics and the TV show with Rick and Carl was a really good idea.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. All
No,
right.
yeah, those are my type of games. For survival games, I really like Don't Starve. I know it's a completely different, like, it's the same genre, but it's different. Like, it's a top down and you're collecting and doing all that stuff. That's like the only survival game that I've ever gotten into was Don't Starve.
I like
Don't
it.
Starve is
I
pretty
like it.
cool. It's a cool little
It's
game.
good. It's good. The multiplayer, didn't that just come out 2015? Then multiplayer came
Yeah,
out.
yeah, the multiplayer just came
That
out
was
in
pretty good.
2015. Yeah, and then they just came out with the Realm of Giants and Shipwrecked, where you're on like
Oh,
marooned
yeah.
on an island, which is really cool.
Oh, yeah, they have the don't they have one that's like on a boat or something? They're shipwrecked, right? Is that
Mhm,
just an
it's
add-on or
Shipwrecked.
is that a standalone?
It's an add-on,
No,
but it's like
okay.
a completely you have to go through hurricane season and
Oh,
you have to
that's
like
cool,
fight
that's
like a whole
cool.
different way because there's like tons of monkeys that steal all your shit. It's great. I love it.
Yeah. What other game? I didn't get to play The Witcher 3 at all because I'm one of those people that really wants to play the ones before I play the new one. And I know that's not necessary, but I'm just like petty like that in my mind.
No,
Oh, you're like me.
Yeah, I wanna play the old ones and see through it. City Skylines, that game is great. I love that.
I liked
game.
that game a lot actually.
That's
I
a
thought
really
I
City
good.
was surprised. That's
Skylines-
like how it should have been made, like for SimCity.
Mhm.
I loved City Skylines because I thought it was another great example of an indie developer sort of coming in and like face rolling the AAA juggernaut in that particular genre.
Yeah.
Oh, they
Yeah.
love that genre, and it shows, and yeah, SimCity definitely dropped the ball. Even their mobile game, they dropped the ball on. Like, it's terrible.
Yeah.
And the new Metal Gear, I played that. That game's really good. Metal Gear
yeah, that
Solid
was
5.
good.
That is a really good game. Even though they're kind of screwing up now because Konami's kind of fucking up. Konami completely just went in the garbage this year. After they released that game, they're pretty much non-existent. They closed their LA studio down, and they closed another Konami studio down, and they still haven't released a multiplayer for PC yet.
Well, they haven't
I
really said
avoided
what
playing
happened
the
to
new
the
Metal
studio.
Gear because of the stuff that happened with Kojima
Hmm.
and the stuff that happened with the revealed ending that they basically said, you know what, we're not willing to invest the money to actually finish the story on.
Yeah, that's
That's
that
too bad.
sucks. We'll do a whole talk about Konami another day. I'll have all their
Sure.
failures and the things they've buried. All right, let's
Whatever.
Silent Hill. Silent
Rocket League
Hills.
actually came out this year too.
Yeah, wasn't it in
Oh,
alpha
yeah.
though for quite a while, or like beta for a while before? I heard it was like in closed beta for like a year or something. But yeah, Rocket League is good. I haven't played it very much, but I would if I just
It's
decided
definitely
to.
a fun game for friends. I
Mhm.
mean, the competitive side of it's cool, but I prefer to play with friends. I think it makes them, a little bit funner.
It's very easy to get into, but not easy to, it's hard to master, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't really think there is, much mastering to that game. Like
Oh,
when
dude,
you,
no, there's people who are amazing at it.
well, yeah, no,
Yeah.
yeah, granted. When you start looking at like the technical aspects of it, like what you could do to actually perform better, there are definitely technical things you could do to perform better. But a lot of times, there's just random variables that you'll never be able to prepare for, just
Mhm.
because of the type of game it is. Which is cool, because there is a randomness to it as well. You can't just master it and become like, OP.
Well, if you can, I don't think individually you can 100% master it, but if you have a team, you could definitely become extremely better than anyone.
Yeah,
They
Oh,
have
of
the
course.
tournaments and stuff.
Yeah, well, it's just like soccer, you
Yeah,
you
yeah.
coordinate the right way with your team, but ball handling. See, this is what
I know a
the
lot about ball handling.
yeah
Do you now?
the big this guy the big variable in that game is ball handling. So even though like I notice myself, like I like to stay back now because I could better judge where the ball may potentially end up, or who may hit it. So I can line up better by staying back on the ball as opposed to staying right up on the ball, and those things definitely will make you a better player. But you still don't know where that ball is going to end up a lot of times, like, and that's really tough to judge.
Mm. Well, overall, I think it's a great game. It's
Yeah, it's
different,
really
and
fun.
something like that was kind of needed with all the
I think
normal stuff we've
the
been getting.
company that developed the Rocket League, they had a similar game to that not too long ago. I forgot what it was because I believe some of the stuff from their old game made it into the Rocket League, actually, like some of the skins of their old cars and stuff from their classic cars.
Mm. I wasn't able to play. What was it? Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. I didn't get to play many of the new releases this year.
Oh, I played Everyone's Gone to the Rapture. It was emotional, but it was like you had to just like explore to learn the story.
Hmm.
So I don't know if people called it a walking simulator. So
There,
I don't know, like it's not really action based. It's more like a story unfolding.
Hmm.
So it's kind of like one of those games. It depends if you
If
like
you
that
like
kind of
that
stuff.
type of
Yeah. But I
Uh,
liked Until Dawn. That game was fantastic. It like blew my mind how much I actually liked it. Because
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be cheesy, and then I wouldn't be a fan. But it happened to be like one of my favorite times to ever stream was streaming that game and
Mhm.
having everybody over was like probably some of my favorite moments
I
for
I
sure.
I don't know much about Until Dawn. Didn't really get to play too much of, like I said, any of the new games this year. I was playing like, I don't know, Spyro
And you're
for
playing
PlayStation
you're playing
1.
Fallout 2,
Fallout,
3, a
Spyro,
million.
Silent Hill 2. Yeah. I didn't. Who got to play Just Cause 3? You did, right?
did.
'Cause-
Yeah,
Yeah, you
I
did.
did.
You got to play that.
Yeah,
How is it?
I liked how chaotic and everything was, and I liked that they added like a wingsuit and all that stuff. But the story is boring, and
Mhm.
I am such a story-driven person that playing a mission where you make the whole camp explode over and over again was really boring to me.
Mhm.
yeah, it looks like it was directed by Michael Bay.
Yeah, Michael Bay
They
video
are.
game is Just Cause 3.
Yeah.
It's like you shoot a pistol at anywhere and like the whole map explodes, and it's like in bullet time for like 10 minutes.
Yeah,
Because
that's
I
how
watched
it is.
I watched GMG play it.
Yeah, and I like watching Wayne like fail like over and over again
Yeah. Oh
trying
my
to use
god, with
the
the grapple
wingsuit.
hook. Oh my god.
He
And the
couldn't do
wingsuit.
anything.
Yeah, the wingsuit when he kept flying right into his face.
Mm.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
All right. Well, I guess anyone else got any games they want to mention for 2015? Sheik, anything?
Not really.
Freedom.
I guess Killing Floor is worth a mention. You know, it's all right.
Oh, that's a fun one to play
Wait,
with
did that one come out in
everybody.
2014? I thought it came out in 2014, like
I
late
think it was
2014.
officially released in 2015, but it
Wait,
was
is it
in, like, an
released?
OPA beta.
Wait, is it out of
What?
early access?
Wait, I
It's-
thought it was released. Was it not released?
It
I
was
don't-
supposed to be out early access at the end of 2015, but I don't think it. I think they delayed
It's
it.
still in early access, I think.
Oh.
So it didn't
Yeah.
really, it didn't come out, and it didn't come out this year. But it definitely became a lot better this year. The huge updates with it.
There you go.
It's a very good game. All right, let's move on to the next topic, which is the Oculus Rift release.
Well, okay. I was
wish
gonna
Larry
say.
was here.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
guy. We might want to save that. Till,
You
like,
want
the
to
next-
save that till next year?
Yeah, because he's the only one who has hands-on experience with it. Like, you know.
I've used the Oculus Rift and I've used Sony's PlayStation VR, and I could tell you my experience with those.
Well, wait, you tried out the Sony VR?
Uh-huh.
How is that?
It's a lot like the Oculus Rift. The headset feels a little bit different. Like if you look downwards, you can kind of see the light underneath if you don't have it properly seated on your head.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently my head is very small, so they had to adjust the crap out of it just to get it to work. But I got to try some behind the scenes Sony stuff because I worked there.
Oh,
I got
that's
to try
awesome.
some
That's
games
awesome.
that have not been announced,
Mm-hmm.
and apparently I was the most fun to watch play VR because everybody was laughing at me because I was playing a horror themed game and things kept jumping out at me and I kept screaming really loudly. But it was awesome, and it feels like even more scary than a regular scary game. 'cause you
Oh,
think
yeah,
it's, like, right there.
That's
in your
definitely the future of
face.
horror
Yeah.
in VR.
Yeah, I was a huge naysayer on VR for the longest time because I thought the idea of like strapping this heavy like goggle to your face while you're trying to relax and play video games was just never gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a coworker bring in like the Samsung phone VR thing you can set up or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like the game was not like high graphic fidelity or anything. But I jump scared like really hard playing a horror game, and I was like, okay, this is actually legit. I can understand how
Yeah.
this is gonna be good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah, because I've tried like the roller coaster ones, like back when they first started coming out. Like, because I always go to E3 every year because I'm in the industry. Like, I used to get super nauseous, so I would just take off the headset and I was like, I don't want to throw up. I'm sorry. And they're all like, okay. But when I tried it recently on the Sony VR, like I didn't feel nauseous.
they're a lot of them are working to improve on the whole.
They're fixing a lot
motion
of stuff,
sickness
which
stuff.
is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard that the HTC Vive whatever has very little motion sickness like to do with it. Though some people are always gonna have the motion sickness problem. For some
That's
people, it's
true.
really bad. Like I know someone he has to play like most games. He has to take like medicine so he doesn't like vomit on his desk because
Oh, Dramamine.
yeah, and like field of view has a lot to do with that. So yeah, some people are always probably never going to be able to fully have fun with VR because of motion sickness problems, and the price is a big thing, huge thing. But it's brand new.
$500 for it, not yet.
Yeah,
It's too
600 for the
expensive.
Oculus.
Yeah.
The Vive.
600?
Yeah, it's 600 for the Oculus. The Vive is probably gonna be like people are guessing around 800. No idea for the
Why?
Sony one. Why? It's new technology. And I think it's because the Vive comes with like those two little like controller thingies, the Valve thingies. I don't know. They're like,
Yeah.
if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. They look like controllers, and then it has like a square on top. It's flat, and then that's really it.
Interesting.
I personally would not get any VR technology not till at least 5 years out after it hits a real consumer level. Only because it's too new. Not in the sense like certain games it's gonna be really cool experience. The horror genre will excel
Yeah,
in that,
that's-
and they need that. They need a push right now because the horror genre I think has been hurting for years, not only in games but movies and TV as well. But my biggest concern with new technology, especially technology like this, is something that Game Meets Girl just mentioned, which is when she was at a convention, it made her feel kind of sick. We don't know what the long-term effects of using this technology are going to present, on the human mind, the human body, how it's,
Thank you,
because
Killer.
you have something directly pushed against your eyes. We don't like, just to give you an example, way back in the day, in the early VR days, Nintendo put out something called Virtual Boy.
Oh,
um
that thing.
Okay, this thing got discontinued, not because it wasn't popular, not because it didn't sell that great, but basically because there were so many consumer complaints of people getting migraine headaches after like 30 minutes of use on it, being nauseous, and these effects actually continually they continued even after they stopped use for a certain amount of time. So this is what I'm saying, like, you don't know the long term effects of this technology yet. So me personally, I like to wait some time, not for them just to work out the bugs, but to let some of these universities and other third parties do trials and see what the potential effects are, because again, we're an unknown area, and it's just like cell phone technology. We still, even after 2 decades now, we still don't really know the long term effects of having a cell phone pressed up against our face, because cell phones have become basically mini computers now. So the data that we had from like the 80s or 90s is basically obsolete, because now the phones are more powerful. They have newer technology, some new signals, new frequencies, this, that, and the other thing. And we don't know what the long term effects are. We can have a whole generation of people that may potentially have brain tumors just because they overly use a cell phone just too much, or maybe a certain manufacturer too much. We don't know. A lot of variables. But it is important to consider, everybody wants to try the newest thing, be part of the newest thing, but that thing can end up doing a lot of damage to you too.
So your concern is like the health effects and the way that's gonna be with people. That's one you don't really hear often, but that's definitely a valid reason to
Well,
not be into it.
one of
Yeah.
the really valid things about that is, even if it's not like a brain tumor, just who knows like what that'll do for your brain's equilibrium and stuff when if you spend too many hours in that virtual headset.
I'm sure there is gonna be problems where people use VR for like 8 hours straight, and then when they try to stand up, they like fall over because they're not like. You get what I mean?
Or how if it leads to, chronic migraines, like, because you say you start using this thing like 6 hours, 8 hours a day, and you're doing this for months straight, and now all of a sudden, like, how if it eventually starts causing you to have like chronic migraines, and now you're a young kid who's got to deal with migraines the rest of his life? I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a health professional, I don't know much of those fields, but, I have common sense.
Mhm.
So,
I
Definitely.
am kind of excited to see the first person that streams with a Rift and like falls through their green screen.
I'm not a big fan of watching streams with the Rift. I mean, like, yeah, I think it's something you really got to experience yourself, because when you see someone using any of the VRs, you see like the two circle videos, like a
They
duplication.
don't do that for every VR
They don't do that
headset.
for every VR headset.
yeah.
Only Oculus
Only
shows you what
Oculus.
both eyes look like.
Mhm.
I know Sony's, they only show one screen, so it doesn't have like that kind of
Uh.
three-dimensional feel or whatever.
Uh huh.
But they only use one screen when they display it, because all the demos, they could watch the demo and my
Mhm.
reactions to it. Like I played a bunch of them. Like I had one where I was in a car and I had two controllers, and I would have to like reload my gun by like hitting the controllers a certain way, like I was putting in like a new magazine.
Mhm.
So, and then I could actually lean out the car door and open it and like shoot people. Like
Oh,
I could
that's
do all
awesome.
sorts of cool stuff.
All right, so
So there's
I
stuff
didn't
like
know
that
that.
too.
I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
the technology is awesome. Don't get me wrong, and I'm definitely gonna try it out and use it. But I wouldn't use it on a regular basis. And where the option presents itself to play the game in Oculus or standard mode, I probably play the whole game in its entirety in standard, and then mess around with the Oculus. Like I seen a mod for GTA. Someone started creating like a mod for GTA for the use for the Oculus Rift, and it looked amazing from the video. Like, I mean, completely amazing. But at the same time, you consider like playing in this environment for like 8 hours or more, and it's just like, yeah, probably not.
Mm.
um, and my other concern, there is another health concern, is that you have this thing on your head. The weight alone, it puts strain on your neck. Mateo would probably be better suited for this conversation because he knows a little bit more about these things. But that's another concern too. The weight of these things, keeping it on your head and keeping that weight on your neck, can cause some severe damage in the future, depending on how heavy these things are. And you never really hear these companies talk about the health ramifications of this technology, but yet they are real, like, because we don't know.
Yeah,
But what about
definitely.
for health benefits? There's a company that designs a huge thing around the virtual world where you can stand on like a treadmill and actually run around holding a peripheral with the headset
Yeah.
on, so you're like in a first person shooter, but you're actually controlling the
Are you
movement.
talking about like that
Yeah.
hexagonal thing they put around your waist and it moves where you move? Because I've
Well,
seen
it's
Yeah,
something like
kind of.
that.
Yeah.
it's
And then you
virtual
have
therapy, which is
yeah,
not a new concept. It's been around since the 80s, but
they're
yeah,
using
I
it for
mean,
entertainment now.
yeah, there are benefits to this type of technology as well. I mean, when you think about what you could do with being able to operate in a virtual 3D realm. I mean, there's a lot of potential uses for this, even outside of just gaming. So we won't get into all that, but there are but there are a lot
Oh.
of health risks too.
Well,
See, the
have you
thing,
heard? There's like a lot of things though. Like they're doing a whole virtual reality park called the Void, and you have the headset on with like peripherals and stuff, and you go through walk through an actual place that looks like something else. Like there's a crazy cool trailer on it and everything.
Mhm.
isn't
I
I'll
that
find
think
in,
it.
isn't that
I
in France or something?
Something like that. But if you wanted to learn more about virtual reality, that would probably be the place to go.
Mm.
I think that when you look at like the Oculus Rift and these other things, HTC and even Sony's, I think I think they're already outdated before it's even been put out, because when you look at what Microsoft is doing and what Google is doing, I think that's potentially the future of VR. Not wearing a helmet that covers your whole face and stuff, like wearing glasses where you can actually see your environment, and interact in that environment, as well as operate in a closed off world as well. The versatility of both glasses that both companies are making, I think that's going to be the real future of 3D gaming. I think.
I don't think so. Like, I don't know. I play games that kind of get away from that reality, Like some games would be really cool to see in reality. Like they previewed like what Minecraft, like a demo of
Yeah.
Well,
Minecraft at that.
did you
That'd be
see
cool.
the first person shooter Microsoft
I
released?
I haven't
Well,
seen that one.
yo, bro, it's crazy. It's like just think of Doom like in your living room, like your wall opening to a third dimension, and some monster coming out of your wall and
Uh huh.
interacting with you. It's intense. Like, and they could still provide. Both Google and Microsoft will still be able to provide that closed world virtual reality too. So you would have an option to have the closed off virtual reality world and be able to interact in the real world in a virtual environment. And I think they're pushing the technology further than say Oculus, HTC is right now. And that's just my point of view. Like, I think like the HTC, Oculus, I think they're more novelty, and even when they do
Mm.
make it to a good consumer price point, it may be a little too late if Microsoft and Google continue, on the rapid development that they have been on their technology for virtual environments.
Mhm.
I think
So
the
we'll see.
idea of playing like a 4X game, like with cardboard or something like that, is kind of amazing. Like you just look at your table and the game like lays out on it, and then you can just move things around with your hands. like
Mhm.
Super Chess. That
I
would be
think we're a
really
bit
cool.
away from it being
Well, we're
that
not.
easy. I don't know, Freedom. They've shown
Microsoft
a
is
lot
the
of demos that are just like pre-rendered demos.
Microsoft has done all their demos they have done were all live.
They're
You know,
alive.
yeah, and even their first-person shooter, it was done live. The way they were able to actually show an audience on a TV or a monitor or whatever is because they were using a custom built like $70,000, $80,000 camera that takes what the user is seeing and actually puts it on the screen. But all their demos were done live, and that's what is even blows you away. And when Gud just said about chess, like being able to do tabletop gaming in your reality, but you in a virtual environment. Microsoft is already able to do that. Like, their technology has already surpassed just being able to virtualize tabletop on a real, table. They're pushing it to the point of actually creating first-person shooters that are in your, world, just a virtual setting. Like it's yeah, blew me away. I ain't gonna lie.
Mm.
That's a really
You
cool prospect for augmented reality games too.
Yeah, like you guys should definitely check out their latest demo they did with the first person shooter because it was just like yeah, it takes you back a little bit to think of like where gaming may be in the next 5 to 10 years because of what Microsoft is developing. Now Google is developing Google Glass, which is very similar to Microsoft's technology. But I think Microsoft is ahead of the game out of everybody that's in the VR space right now. If you keep on top of things. Anyway,
I don't know. I don't know
I'm
much
actually
about that stuff. Weapon Cheek.
I'm actually gonna go the other way. Like to the far east. There's I know this was mentioned in chat a little while ago. Something called the Nerve Gear. Like it's not actually a thing, but the science behind it is actually kind of already here.
Mhm.
Basically, the Nerve Gear pretty much like turns off all sensors. Like it's a full helmet thing, and it pretty much just puts you inside of a world. Like all your senses, everything in the world, you could touch, you could feel. You can actually get stabbed in that world and feel it.
Mm.
But again, it's only theoretical and it's not actually made yet.
Mm.
This could probably happen in maybe 5 to 10 years. Like Freedom said.
Mhm.
Yes,
yeah,
yes, the Nerve Gear is from Sword Art Online. Yes, I know.
you know what's this conversation reminded me there's a game that actually had VR based around its entire concept, and that was a game for PlayStation called Dot Hack. And basically it's a role playing game or a JRPG. But back then, before everything was called JRPGs, it was just RPG. But nonetheless, you played a character playing an MMO online, and this MMO they played online was through a virtual terminal like headset, and yeah, this was like back in 2001.
Yeah, that's
Pretty,
actually
pretty
another one of them. Like,
yeah.
like they've just been using pretty much the same thing throughout different years.
Mm.
But it can be possible. It's just really hard to develop it because you have to turn an MRI into an actual headset.
I'm sure one day there's definitely be a full thing that you just pretty much are in the game. But one day that's definitely gonna happen. But it's just you gotta go step by step.
Has everybody seen the movie Gamer? It came out in like 2009.
Oh yeah, the one with
Gamer.
Yes,
Gerard
that's
Butler. Yeah.
That's the real that's the end game for gaming when you're playing like a real human being in real life.
Oh yeah, that movie.
I
I've
know,
seen
right?
that one.
like that's messed up though.
That's a little much. A little much.
Well, that is a foreseeable thing. It could become a thing in the future. But this movie pointed out is being obviously all the bad sides of that potential future.
Mhm.
It was pretty awesome to see though. I ain't gonna lie, but it would be kind of funny though to just, like, I don't know, play The Sims and you're playing somebody that's an actual person. It's messed up as it is.
So
I mean, the
Fat.
experience.
I'm a fat dude.
So
playing a character.
I just want to ask which VR headset, if you guys can pick any of the upcoming ones, which one would you pick?
Um, Probably the Sony headset.
Sony one.
I'm gonna go with Microsoft. I do think Sony stepped up their game towards the end of the year, but I'm still gonna go with Microsoft in the long run.
Sony's mostly because I've played more. I have like more demos that I've played on that one, so like I'm more familiar with it. So I'd probably go with that one.
I would have to do a lot more research before deciding because I haven't really looked into it too much in general.
I would do the HTC one because I love Valve, right? Freedom. I love everything Steam.
Yeah,
Um,
fanboy. It
I-
doesn't get the worst reviews, and you'll still find.
Oh my God, the Steam controller is not that bad,
love it.
Freedom.
It's like every
Jesus
review on the
Christ.
Steam controller.
The
Is
Steam
positive,
controller
and it's
is
like,
pretty
I've gotta try.
good. Oh,
Yeah.
Let's do this right now. Freedom and Betty just kung fu fight and get this thing dealt with.
the Steam controller is
Then
not
that's
meant
an
for
extra,
you if you just want a simple controller to play with. It's not like that, okay? It's a very bendable controller that you can make work with pretty much anything if you put the time into it.
If you want to spend an hour before
Oh
you
my
play
God,
the
it's not an
game
hour. It takes like
setting up
10,
the
like 4
controller.
minutes, like 4 minutes max. Okay,
Yeah.
to get a good one.
Yeah, what you do is you download a community map, and then all of a sudden, when you're like running, okay, you trigger a macro that was in that map, and your
No,
character
that's not
just
how it
starts
works,
spinning in
Freedom. That's
circles.
not how it works.
But,
Jesus.
Yeah, no, Mateo would tell you too. You hear that clicking sound? Like, who wants to hear that
Oh
clicking
my
sound while they're
God.
gaming? I don't.
I'm gonna show you that like this coming week. I'm gonna show you it's fine. But yeah, I
I'm
think
definitely on R.
I think
Great.
the HTC VR is I don't know, from what I've seen, it looks very nice. With how you can like how it responds. Even though you have to put those things around the room, that you have to put like one in the corner of the room and one in the other corner. And apparently they did something new, crazy with it that they had to delay its release date. So I'm so curious about that. And yeah, that's really it. I mean, one other note, VR is definitely not only the future of horror games, but also the future of, as some people said, porn. It definitely is. There's no way you can look around that. It definitely
I
is
mean-
the future of that.
Here it goes.
I mean, there's already conventions for it.
Yeah,
so
there
I'm not
is.
even gonna
It's
say,
gonna make
like,
money. It's gonna happen.
Oh, it's definitely gonna make money.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to have virtual waifu or whatever. Waifu.
Waifu.
Whatever.
My
Wi-Fi.
waifu.
Wi-Fi.
Yeah, people literally.
Wi-Fi.
I feel like there is gonna be the problem though. At some point, people literally just living in the VR. Like they don't want to leave. We already have people who don't want to leave their computers at all ever.
I mean, that's definitely gonna be a problem,
Hmm.
but there's no way to actually go around that.
Yeah.
Consider this: how everybody should do a little experiment on themselves. Take a week, right, and every day record how much time you actually interact with the electronic product, whether it be your computer or your cell phone, and see how much time you spend per day on electronic device and not on electronic device. You may be shocked by the results.
Mm.
Like 100% of my time, I'm not shocked by my results.
Yeah.
considering my
No.
job
Probably like
Job
100%.
That's pretty
spent
close.
on a computer and a system.
Mhm.
And then when I get home, what do? I either watch TV or I play on my computer. And then when you go do other stuff while you're in the bathroom and you're on your phone. So it's kind of like wherever you go, it doesn't matter unless you're
Yeah.
driving or in the shower.
Well,
you're
some
gonna be on something.
some cars have the the whole
yeah, but I
setup.
don't text and play on my phone when I'm driving because it's
Yeah, but what would
dangerous.
be using technology be like using Pandora? Would that count? Like using Spotify, Pandora, or something else? Would that also count?
Yes,
Yeah,
because
so
you're
that also
using-
counts.
Yeah.
But
you're-
100% of the time.
Yeah.
So
100% of the time.
Unsieged is pointing out that what Betty is talking about, where people just get lost in VR, is actually a reality in the lore of Shadowrun, where they've got like these chips called Better Than Life chips that you can essentially use to have a virtual reality experience of something that is better than your own life, and people become like junkies and waste away because of them.
Where do I
Total
sign
re-
up for that?
Yeah, Total Recall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah. Need that. We all need it.
apparently.
If
Well,
I could live in Fallout, I'd never leave.
yeah. The future. It's gonna be great.
Well, this is what I'm saying. I know Besco. I was answering Dark Mercy because he says he spends over 400 hours FMP, a lot of time on the computer. I do the same. GMG does the same. Her job requires her to interact with some sort of electronic device, sit in a particular place for long periods of time. But it's funny because years back, I remember when people used to say, "Oh, the internet's not going to be anything special. You know, it's useless." All types of stuff like the home. No, people when the first home computer started coming out, people thought it was ridiculous. Like, you know, what was the point of having a computer in your home? You know, people thought it was never going to go anywhere. Just like having a phone in your car, because everybody was like, well, who cares? They got payphones everywhere. You know, now look at us now.
Yeah.
It's in every facet of our life. You know, we could bring tablets into the showers with us, you know, and watch
Hey, you're the
streams.
only one who does that.
If I could, I would. I mean, if you could bring everything in the shower, you would you not?
I mean,
That's
why
when I
not?
come
You
up with
can,
ideas
right?
for things. Like I can't like I relax and I come up with ideas for freaking pixels.
I don't know if I want.
Videos, like I can't stop coming up with ideas because my brain actually has a moment to stop thinking.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. Like the showers, like, you know, should be sacred time because, you know, I don't
Sacred
know.
time for you.
I don't know if I want Mateo messaging me while I'm in the shower.
You want Mateo talking to you in the
Yes.
shower, having a meeting in the shower?
I've done
Future,
it
it's the
before. I
future.
don't care.
You've done a meeting in the shower before,
I
Freedom?
mean, I answered my phone when I'm in the shower and other stuff like that. I don't care.
Oh my god, that's great.
Like-
That's great.
So
Like if I could bring my
weird.
if I could bring my PC into the shower, I'd probably never get clean.
So like people will be like, "Yo, what's that noise? Sounds like you're in the shower." I'll be like, "Yeah, I'm in the shower."
I'm not
And they'll be
washing
like,
myself.
"What?"
I'm just in there.
I'll be like, "This is
Ziploc
happening right
bags.
now. This is happening. You're getting
Yeah.
this experience."
The future. The future. All right. Well, I think that's all. I think we've done this for we've been talking for quite a while, and we could save the rest of the topics for next week. We definitely want Larry's insight on the whole Oculus Rift, so we'll save that.
Yes.
And the other two, they can wait. They're not
You don't
going
want to
anywhere.
talk about shovelware?
Well, we'll talk about that next week. Get
I
a
mean,
few more
'cause,
examples.
I mean, I got the game with no executable file. Like that.
Yeah. There's
I
a
wanted
few
to talk about that.
Well, we'll do it the coming, not next week, but the week after next week. Don't worry, Freedom. There's gonna always be another game that comes out, and you know that doesn't work, or it's malware, or the developer says all the Steam community is shit. That
Yo,
one was fun.
a developer actually did that. Remember, he put up the picture.
Yeah, I
of
know.
the
I have the
shit,
picture. You
and
see
he's
it?
like, "This is Valve,"
I have it.
and everybody's like, "Lord Gaben, Lord Gaben."
Yeah, this
Fuck
one.
the
I have a picture.
developer.
All right. Well, yeah, that's gonna be it for all of us, I guess. So everyone, I guess, say goodbye, and I'll end it off.
Oh, what do you got that on your desktop? That's your wallpaper.
What?
You are like you pulled that up with the quickness.
Because I had it. I already had it. That was gonna be the topic image.
Oh, was
Yeah.
it? Wow, look at that.
Yeah.
Good call.
Yeah, I knew about that.
Good call.
That was funny. All right. Well, thanks for watching the second Pixel Cast, everyone, and we'll see you not next week, but the week after next week. Every other week, this will be going on. All right.
Awesome.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Hope
Later.
you
Make good
enjoyed
choices.
yourself. Yeah, make good choices.
Or bad ones.
Bad ones, definitely. Bad
Don't
ones.
buy EA Battlefront.
Internet hugs and
too
low
late.
fives.
You bought it, right?
Oh yeah, Star Wars Battlefront.
Maybe it'll get better.